Today, we're going to be doing 4 slab of spare ribs on my brand new Pit Barrel 22.5-inch PBX. I really have gotten into this rib hanging thing, and this PBX is supposed to be a rib hanging beast. Very quickly, it is a set it and forget it type cooker. So I thought I'd start off by showing it side by side with my my Gateway, which is really one of my favorite cookers. One thing I noted right off the bat was that this thing comes with 16 hooks. So you can really do a lot of slab of ribs, chicken, whatever it is that you choose to do. So I thought, okay, let's see what this thing is about. So let's get started. I set it up with some cherry wood and some Kingsford charcoal. I had some leftover lump, so I threw that in my chili starter to get it started. Uh, I thought, well, let's see how this thing works, and if it doesn't pan out too well, I'll make me some chicken. That's why I had the PBX, I'm sorry, the PK on standby. So let's get this thing lit, and we'll see how it does. I was initially apprehensive because there's no thermometer on it, but after doing some research, I understand it's set up to really cook between 275 and 300, depending upon your elevation and where you are in the country. So I followed the directions, had the air vent set for about a quarter of the way open, and as I said, let's see what we can come up with. I decided to set hang my ribs to the side, not directly over the heat. I found I have better results like that when I'm using my 18.5-inch Weber Smoky Mountain. So after the first hour, these things were really good. The rub was starting to adhere, and frankly, I was really satisfied. I'm like, well, this thing seems to be percolating right along. So let's see what we get here. I think about an hour and 30 to an hour and 45 minutes. You can really see things were starting to set. I'm like, okay, this might be something worthwhile here. So just a quick look, as you can see, the rub was starting to really firm up, and I was quite happy. And even though it was cooking kind of quickly, which I'm not used to, I'm like, well, let's go with it and keep an eye on it, and then we'll go from there. After about 2 hours and 15 minutes, you can see the ribs were starting to really draw back. Uh, Fat was starting to render. You can even see the marrow starting to come out. And I'm like, okay, this thing is really doing an excellent job on these ribs. Um, the color, and it's kind of maybe hard to pick up here, but it was really nice. I used Cosmos honey chipotle, so this is not the usual red color that I get, but more of that honey brown type color, and I was very satisfied. I made a point to go down 3 bones before trying them because I didn't want to lose anything. Ribs can drop sometimes. I've never had that happen, but I wanted to make sure it didn't happen on this initial cook on the PBX. Just under 3 hours. I didn't want them to get any darker, and I'm like, wow, let me get these off and get them wrapped. In the wrap, all I did was put in I believe it's Jack Daniel's sweet and spicy barbecue sauce, along with a little pineapple juice, and sprayed them down with some spray. I can't believe it's not butter. Didn't really want to go too crazy. I just wanted to add a little flavor to them and really get to see. I was more concerned about how these things are going to cook. So here you can see the color. Once you take them off, I was just extremely happy. I was able to get them off without letting them get too dark. And one of the things I noticed by hanging them to the side, I did not get that charred, overcooked bottom, which was that's something that people are really concerned about. After about an hour and 15 minutes in the wrap, took them out. I had some leftover uh, Jack Daniels glaze from Malcolm Reed's recipe from an earlier cook, and I glazed these bad boys and actually just put them in the oven to set the sauce. So here you see the finished product after glazing. Like I said, I kept them warm. I had so much cook time and so much fuel left. I thought, okay, why not throw some chicken wings on? I was going to cook them on the PK, but I'm like, okay, let's see what the PBX can do. So threw them on a rack. I seasoned them up with some Cosmos Dirty Bird, as well as a base layer of Heath Ryle's garlic jalapeno, which has been my go-to lately for that underlying rub that really adds a little kick and spice to it. And I have to admit, these things really came out well. And frying, nothing like that. I didn't drop them in a deep fry to crisp them up. It's just straight uh, smoked. And I looked over. I said, well, you can go ahead and cover the PK up. He won't need to do any duty today. So all in all, I was really impressed with the way this thing cooks. I do wonder if I had that fat open maybe a little bit too much. So on my next cook, I'm going to adjust it back to where it was when it actually arrived. And I do want to point out, this thing arrived, I purchased it, I believe, on a Thursday. It arrived on a Friday and was ready to cook. I did put in a layer of stay dry that I use, food safe stay dry that I use in my Gateway as well as my Oklahoma Joe Highland, and to kind of absorb any grease. But other than that, it was ready to go when it came out of the box. I think the only thing I had to do was to install the handle. One quick note, I noticed that the handle as well as the lid got pretty hot. I'm sure that the fact that it was an 85-degree day contributed to that, but I learned very quickly, do not handle the lid without an insulated glove. So other than that, there really was no complaints. I think that just kind of comes with the territory. Finally, these ribs were just, man, I was just very happy for my first cook. They were moist, they were tender, but what most impressed me was they were not overcooked. They were not falling off the bone, which is actually what I prefer, is a little substance, a little integrity, a little firmness to them. I was just blown away. I really didn't expect to do this well for my first time cooking on this bad boy. And I'm really looking forward to doing my favorite protein on it, which would be a brisket. Based on the way it's cooking, I think this will qualify as a hot and fast type cook. So hopefully we'll be doing a brisket on it very soon, and we'll see how that turns out. I've done hot and fast on my Gateway, so I'm thinking, hey, that I'll base it on that experience, and let's see what the PBX can do. So from BJ's Backyard Buckeye Barbecue, thanks for watching. Have a good one.